Good afternoon, class. Welcome to Graph Linear Equations, Chapter 4.2. So part of Chapter 4.1 will be included into this Chapter 4.2 video. And also, this is Part 1 of 4.2. There will be two videos, just one tonight though. So standard form and graphing an equation. So it's very important that you understand ax plus by equals c. That is standard form equation. You're used to talking about slope-intercept form, all those type of forms when it comes to graphing equations. But we're going to talk about ax plus by equals c today. And a, b, and c are real numbers. And the key thing too as well is not only are they real numbers, but a and b cannot equal 0. Okay, so ax plus by equals c is standard form. So if we need to graph negative 2x plus y equals negative 3, here are the steps we're going to do that. The first thing we're going to do is solve the equation for y. So we're going to get it into what we know as slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, but we're not there yet, really. We're just going to get this set equal to y. So think back to last chapter. How do we get y alone? And then we're going to make a table choosing a few values for x and finding the values of y, just like we did last section. So let's take a look at it. Negative 2x plus y equals negative 3. So here's the table. So first, let's go over step 1. Get x by itself. So we're going to add 2x over to each side. And remember, the x portion is going to go in front. So we know that it's y equals 2x plus 3. So now we plug in the information that we have for x. Put in negative 2. Well, we know that 2 times negative 2 plus 3. Y equals negative 4 plus 3, which y equals negative 1. I made a mistake right here, actually. Sorry. That's not a plus sign. That's a negative. So really this is negative 7. Sorry. So negative 7. Then plug this in for minus 3. Y equals negative 2 minus 3, which y equals negative 5. So I'm just plugging the values in just like we did last night. So y equals negative 3. So we can see a pattern here. It's increasing by 2. So we then know the next one would be negative 1. So we have this graph of negative 2x plus y equals negative 3. I plugged in the points that I got. And remember, again, these are ordered pairs. So negative 2, negative 7. And now we're going to graph it based on the information that we received from this slide right here. Okay? So I see another mistake I made right there. So it's negative 3 right there. So here we go. Negative 2, negative 7, which is way down here. I don't have it. So negative 2, negative 7, negative 1, negative 5. Let me erase that. There we go. 0, negative 3, and 1, negative 1. So there is my graph, and then we can just connect the dots to form our line, making sure that we have arrows at the bottom and at the top to show that this line is going on forever. So again, remember the domain, -2, the range, -7. Okay, ordered pair, we have -1, -5. Okay, remember these are always your x value and your y value. Okay? So, now we're going to graph y equals b and x equals a. So graph y equals 2. For every value of x, the value of y is 2. The graph of y equals 2 is a horizontal line. So you notice here that there's not an x within our equation here. It's just y equals 2. So we know that there's something unique about this type of an equation. And it tells us right here that it's automatically a horizontal line. So when it's y equals a number without an x, okay, we know without an x in the equation, we know that it's going to be a horizontal line, and I'll show you that in a second. So graph x equals -1. For every value of y, the value of x is -1. The graph of the equation x equals -1 is a vertical line. So we definitely know something is unique about this, because usually in graphing, usually everything is set equal to y. But now we have x equals without a y. So we know that anytime you have x, automatically a vertical line if it does not have a y. So graph y equals 2. Well, that tells us that for every x value, the y value will be 2. So the y value will be 2. Okay, y equals 2. So we know that this is a horizontal line right here. So graph x equals -1. Well, that means that every y value will ordered pair, the x will be -1. So we know that's a vertical line. Okay, so when you look at an equation, when you're doing your homework tomorrow, make sure if it's y equals without an x inside the equation, we know that it's a horizontal line. If it's x equals -1 without a y in the equation, we know that it's a vertical line. Very important. And here's your homework. Graph these equations. So for this one especially, I need step 1 and step 2. So if you can't remember what these steps are, go back a couple slides, but I need to see both of these steps. And then step 3, graphing it. So remember what step 1 is, step 2, and then you'll create your coordinate plane and graph the line. Okay, for both of these, I just want to see where you graph the line. Think about y equals 2.5. What does that mean? And then x equals -4. So graph that. You can graph it right on the same coordinate plane that you create for number 1. And then we'll talk about it in class tomorrow. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. Email me if you have any questions from today's homework or from this video. Take care.